So let's say you got 3 days a week, maybe even worse, maybe 2 days a week. When you haven't got a full week's work, it can be frustrating at times, and not to mention it can be damaging to your wallet. Because let's be honest, if you haven't got any work, you'll always find something else to spend money on, so you'll be spending money rather than making money. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Keeping a constant flow of work. So much so that that phone ain't going to stop ringing. Toolbox Talks for Electricians, helping electricians reduce stress, gain back time, and of course, earn more money. Does it make me sound like a proper British moaner if I moan about the weather in the UK at the moment? It's cold, windy and wet. Because everyone outside the UK, they always say, yeah, the British, they always moan about the weather. Well, it's normally people that live in these beautiful places like Florida that sort of say this about the British. Well, it is a cold, wet and windy day, so I'm glad to be sitting here recording this podcast for you. Now, this is not supposed to be advice to make you so stressed that you've got so much work and basically you need a holiday. Because if it gets to that position, then well, yeah, take a holiday. Because if you're stressed with earning too much money and having too much work, I'm sure you can afford to take a few weeks off every now and again. I do know what it's like having a manic few months where you've got plenty of work coming in, you just stacked out all the time, you're getting phone calls left, right and centre, even when you're on a job trying to do work. To the other end of the extreme is when you look in your diary and you think, hang about, I haven't got nothing booked in for the next few weeks. I better do something about it. And my best advice to you, if you're trying to build a successful business of your own, become a walking billboard. For your business, you must look professional, and you're more likely going to have like a t-shirt with your branded name on it and maybe your number on the back, where you can advertise your business wherever you go. So if you go to maybe your kids football match, then wear your logo, wear your t-shirt, wear your branded top with your logo and that on the back, so people know that you're an electrician or know that you run your own business. Because one thing I have noticed over the years is that everybody needs and wants a decent electrician. And a lot of the time it might just be a quote that they're after to see how much things can actually cost, or maybe just to know whether something can actually be done. Like a lot of people don't understand about these USB sockets. Like they think you're going to have to run like a separate cable for the USB. No, you can actually change them sockets just to be USB quite easily. Like it was just this week where I got a photo sent to me by a customer and they said, oh, can you fit 2 spotlights in here? Well, this was from a customer that hadn't even moved into a house yet. So she was just getting an idea and getting all excited of all the work she was going to get done in a new property once she moves in. So she sent me a photo of a pendant and just a ceiling and said, can you fit spotlights in here? Well, I obviously explained anything can be done, but your best bet is to give me a call once you moved in and I'll pop round and take a look. Because from that photo, I can't tell whether that's a concrete ceiling. You don't know whether you can access the void inside that ceiling. Is it plasterboard? I didn't know this. So there's a few more details that I'm going to know. I can't just tell straight away from a photo. You can more than likely guess, yes. But just to be 100% sure that I don't go and fill her with hopes and dreams that, yeah, it can be done relatively easy straight away, because you might have to board it down or something like that. You don't know. There's so many different things that can happen once you turn up to the job and actually see the job in the flesh. Because another thing that happened just today, once again, is someone called me up that was sitting around a friend's house and their oven element had gone. And I rarely get involved with appliances, but they asked me the question, Ben, can it be done? Can you replace the element? Anything can be done. Anything is possible. It's sort of my motto. You can do anything. Yes, an element can be replaced. So I thought, right, I'll nip round there, have a cup of tea, and I'll say, yes, that element can be replaced relatively easy. Jump on Amazon, get yourself a new element, and then I'll come round the next night and we'll fit it. And that customer was well happy, because she was about to go out and buy a brand new oven, because obviously just the element had gone. And that oven, well, it more than likely lasts a few more years now. Now it's got a new element. So this is another example sort of thing where you can keep the customer quite happy, because she'll be happy to recommend you to all her family and friends, saying, yeah, come round, he saved me spending £1,700 on a new oven. And although my majority of work is domestic, or I say that the majority is domestic, because the small jobs are domestic, I do industrial and commercial as well. But I have in the past, I've been around someone's house and they said, yeah, we've got a sauna, but it doesn't work. So let's have a look. So I have a little look. I'm just intrigued. I like to challenge myself to have a little go. So I looked at the sauna. Yep, fix that. We've got a load of lights in the swimming pool. They don't work. Change them to LED. That was my first thing to my head. Change them to LED. There were 12-volt fittings, so I had to get in the swimming pool with the customer's trunks on and then pull the light fittings out, put them on top, and then change them to LED. So even though I don't advertise that I do swimming pools or saunas, I like to give myself a bit of a challenge every now and again. And if it's got electrics involved, I'm more likely can figure it out. And the reason that I don't do these like appliances or maybe saunas, because 9 times out of 10, it's been maybe faulty for a long time. And they don't want to get it fixed because they know that the inevitable is going to happen, that you're probably best off buying a new one. And another way to keep your business promoted all the time is when you go to parties, especially around Christmas time. If you get into a conversation with maybe a friend of a friend or somebody that you get introduced to at a party and they say, yeah, I'm an electrician, you can guarantee that their eyes will light up. Oh, I need an electrician. Everybody needs a bleeding electrician. I used to stop telling people that I was an electrician just because I didn't want to get into the conversation as, oh, can you do undercupboard lights? Can you do outside sockets and stuff like that? Yeah, I can do anything. It's a silly question in a way. If you're an electrician, you can do anything. So everybody would always think, if you say to them, I'm an electrician, I run my own business, they'll think of a job in their head straight away thinking, right, yeah, I do need this doing. Like, can I ask you about it? So you spend your time at this party when you're meant to be relaxing, off work, talking about electrics. That's if you're in a position where you want to talk about electrics, where you want to drum up business, because it is a perfect place to get new customers, is at family parties. And years ago, I used to carry a load of business cards. Even when I went to these parties or anything like that, I used to have a few business cards in the van to hand out to people. But that's sort of old hat now, business cards. People misplace them. They put them in their glove box. They don't know. I have got some customer that phoned me at once, say we found this business card in our drawer from, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. But they still called me, which was good. But these days, if you've got maybe a Linktree or a Google business page, then have a little QR code on your phone. And once you've got a QR code on your phone, you can just say, scan that. You'll see all my business details and how to contact me and all my social medias and maybe a website and everything from there. You can direct your customers straight to that. And what do people carry around with them 24/7? It's their phone. So once it's on their phone, they're never going to lose your number. And again, like I say, be a walking billboard everywhere you go. If you go into a salon to get your hair done, which don't happen often for me anymore, I haven't got any. But if you go into a salon to get your hair done and you sit down and you strike up a conversation, hairdressers love to jabber. They'll talk about your life, they'll talk about your family, they'll talk about your business. Mention to them saying, yeah, I'm an electrician. I could fit some new work in. Maybe you can look around that salon and you say, you could probably do a few more sockets because you've got extension lead plugged into an extension lead there. You need an extractor fan. You probably could do with a heater in here. Just upgrade a bit, advise them or anything like that, because you're sitting there getting your hair cut. It's pretty boring anyway. Obviously, I haven't been for a little while. That would be you being a walking billboard, and it'll sit in their mind. And hairdressers, what do? They talk to people every day. So if you can get them to have your number for electrician, and then once another lady comes in or another guy comes in and goes, yeah, I'm having the kitchen fitted, can't get hold of an electrician though, they can say straight away, yeah, I've got a number for electrician, and that will boost your business massively. Another thing you can do, all these places you visit, you go out to the gym, you go out to a restaurant, you go out to some shops maybe. If you're looking for more work, always say a recommendation. Like even when you go into your local news agents, sometimes you can see a light fitting hanging down. You say, that's pretty dangerous, mate. You want to get that sorted? You'd be like, yeah, but I can't find an electrician. Well, as it happens, I am an electrician. You can recommend yourself. Same as in the gym. I sit in the gym all the time and I see people. You do look up in all the installation of the cable tray and stuff like that. You might see something hanging off. You might see a camera hanging down. You might see a light fitting faulty. Something flickering sometimes, like an LED light all the time, and it does your nutting. And you say, mate, do you want to get that sorted? Next thing, yeah, we've been looking for an electrician. Well, there you go. Once again, that is your opening to say, I'm an electrician. I can sort that for you. Another perfect place is where I've been to a few of them is garages, mechanics garages. I think they can do a lot of it themselves, but there's always something in a garage that needs sort of fixing, or you can point out and say, look, mate, that's pretty dangerous. Do you want to get that sorted? And they'll obviously trust you already because you're trusting them with your van, with your vehicle. So they're going to trust you to say, yeah, all right, mate, I'll have a quote so you can get that done. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the work, but the more quotes you get out, then obviously the more quotes that get accepted. And even though that some people, they may not accept your quote because, I don't know, a lot of people that look at it and go, yeah, that's pretty expensive, I'm probably not going to get that done. They don't bother. But they've still got your number. They've still got your details. They can still recommend you to other people because maybe you've got to come across as a decent someone that knows what they're saying and knows what they're doing with electrics. So a lot of people don't mind paying the going rate sort of thing for electrics. A lot of people do want the cheapest chips jobs, which I'm finding a lot more these days. There's a lot of people saying, well, that's a bit expensive. Yeah, well, that is what it is, I'm afraid. So they may not have the work done, which is fine, but they have your number as an electrician. And when there's a problem and they need a good electrician, I can guarantee you, you'll be the one that they call. Because with one scenario with a garage, they had a load of work that needed doing, the board needed changing, it was a freaking mess in that garage, but they were getting an MOT station put in, they were upgrading their own business, and obviously they needed proper supply because they were renting this MOT test kit, so the MOT people, they wouldn't deliver it without a proper supply. So they called me up saying, look, we need all this tested and certified just to supply for the MOT station, we don't care about the rest. So yeah, that was quite a big job to put all these three-phase commando sockets in for the MOT station. They had no choice, they had to get it done. It was the best install they had in that garage. The rest of it was pants, it was probably dangerous, but the main thing that I put in with the new board for the MOT station, that was safe as houses. So once you start getting calls constantly all the time, it's down to you to organise it, to book it in. And when it starts coming thick and fast and everyone's calling you up, everyone wants things doing now. Nobody likes to wait a few weeks. This is the thing, what I find, if they give you a quote and they say, yep, I want to accept it, they might accept it the same day, like when you've sent the email. So they assume you're going to go, right, I'll turn up tomorrow. You're going to have to explain to them it doesn't work like that. So you've got to keep it booked in. Because if you don't book it in, then things are going to get pretty hectic sort of thing. A lot of people might say, well, if you get a spare day, can you pop round then? If I get a spare day, I'm quite busy, so I rarely get a spare day, to be honest. Just let them know that. So if you book them in a day, a specific day, you're going to turn up and you tell them, if you do get an earlier day, then that's fantastic. They'll be well happy. But you've always got to book a job in. Because I have it all the time. Some people say, Ben, when you get a spare minute, I need this changing and need that doing. Don't get spare minutes. My spare minutes are spent doing something else that I like. It's not working. So I don't class coming around your house and changing these sockets as a spare minute. You want this job done, we'll book it in. We'll book it in for a certain time so we both know we've got it in our diaries of when I'm going to turn up, what time. I might give you a call or a text the day before or the week before just to let you know that, do you remember you booked me in? I've got it down, written down where I'm meant to be, what time and when. Because I've also had it before when you think, yeah, I could fit that job in, I could fit this job in, it's only one day, there's 10 little jobs, and you only realistically get round to do 6 because you don't know how long a job's going to take realistically. Sometimes if you take a light down, you think, damn, there's no earth, you've got to find the earth or you've got to rewire it. Or you maybe got to book in another day to get that done properly. You can't find the earth. It's Billy Bodged and someone's disconnected the earth somewhere. So you need to take a bit more time. So realistically, like changing a light, you're probably booking, I don't know, 10 a day, but then something might happen. So you want to just say, look, it's booking a time for me to do it where I've got plenty of time. You give yourself an hour or so because they're going to pay you for an hour minimum to be there. So if it is just changing light, you know, it will take you 20 minutes, but you're going to charge a minimum anyway. There's no point in charging someone, I don't know, 20 quid to change a light. You might as well just go get a paper round for that. Because being a letdown for a customer, even one customer, that can damage your reputation. You'll get a reputation of being someone that lets you down, and that is the main pain point of customers these days with any tradesman industry. I spoke to friends, I spoke to family, I spoke to customers. I spoke to them before. I asked them, why do you always ring me up? Why do you always want me to come around there? Like there's other electricians around, but you wait for me all the time. I'm just interested to know. And they said, because Ben, you turn up when you say you're going to turn up. A lot of people, I know there's my cousin that lives somewhere, and he says it's tough to even get a tradesman to come around to give me a quote. Even if they do come around and give you a quote, Like, they don't give you it on paper. So it's hard for tradesmen to actually dedicate themselves to a job. So if you're a tradesman that actually does dedicate himself, you turn up, have a conversation with the customer, write your details down and send the quote in, and then you follow up to say, right, do you want this job done? Or they get back to you, you got to book the job in. So if you're efficient in a way in your business, I think that goes a long way with domestic customers. But then with being a walking billboard and having so much business, doing so many quotes, and you've got so much work to do, it's probably not a bad problem to have, to be honest, eh? But there is a way to get around that as well. When you've got too much to do, too many phone calls to have, and you've got too much work to do, everyone accepts that quote. Oh, you're quite busy and everyone wants it doing now. All you want to do is put your prices up. You know that your services are valuable to that customer. Where you are maybe charging £50 to go around per hour, put your price up just that little bit, 55. You might get rid of a few people that go, no, that's far too expensive. But the people that know you and your customer base that you've built up over time, they'll appreciate it and go, yeah, I'll pay that £5 extra. It doesn't matter. Like, Ben is good. He comes around and gets the job done. It's safe. And the install that he done with the kitchen 10 years ago is still working spot on. So people will pay for reliability and to people turning up, and because they like you, they know you and trust you. They don't care sometimes. And I've had this with myself in the past as well. I've been called up to go around someone's house, and just to change I didn't even change the light. It was a loose connection. The light weren't fitting, so I had a look. Thought, there we go. Put my earth loop on it. Yep, there was no earth, or no neutral. Sorry, so it wasn't working. So I just tightened the neutral up, re-terminated it, put it in, and it worked fine. I was there, 10 minutes before I'd fixed it. So obviously, what's the next thing to do? Have a cup of tea and a conversation. So I'd sat down with the customers, had a cup of tea, and I said, yes, £35, please. It's all I was going to charge to be there to fix the light. It was just my minimum call out all the time. So I said £35. She turned round and she gave me 135 quid. I said, what's this? Like, a bit of £100 tip, bit big. And she's like, no, well, I thought that's what you said, 135. I said, chill out, hang about a minute. If somebody charges you £135 to tighten up and re-terminate one cable, yeah, kick them out your house, mate. It just doesn't work like that. I'm not a rip-off. I don't appreciate people ripping people off either. So, yeah, that's a bit expensive. And that goes a long way in, like, a customer relationship, I think, because they always call me up all the time. Extractor fan replacement, one LED replacement. They might want a garden socket putting in. Oh, there's water in a light. We need to replace that. Oh, there's so much work that I've got out of these customers over the years that I've kept that great relationship. They'll call me anything. There've even been a chance where I've been on holiday. And I said, when did this happen then? When did this go wrong? Oh, it happened weeks ago, but you were on holiday. Well, like, well, why didn't you get another electrician? Because we'd rather wait for you. They trusted me. They knew me. They liked me. So they waited. They left these lights. So I think they might have had the boiler off even. It was something extravagant that they thought they'd leave it. Maybe they flicked the boiler back on, the timing control. Well, I can't remember. It was so long ago now. But it was something crazy that I thought, fair play, like, good on them. Like, they wanted someone around their house that they trusted. So they waited for me. They waited for me to come back off holiday. And obviously, being a walking billboard for your business, you're going to have a lot of calls. You're going to have a lot of people ring you up all the time. You might want to let your foot off the pedal a bit and stop telling people you're an electrician. Exactly like I did sometimes. I just say, oh yeah, I just work, I buy and sell motorbikes. Like, because, yeah, I do that as well. I mess around with motorbikes. It's not, I don't do it for a living, but I enjoy faffing around with motorbikes just because sometimes I'm just so busy and I don't really need any work, and you think, I'll be all right. But don't let your foot off the pedal all the way, because you've got to mention it to a few people. Mention it to some people that you think, yeah, I might do this job for these. These are nice people. I could help them out in a way. Because as soon as you let your foot off the pedal completely and say no, yeah, the phone will stop ringing, and then you'll be in the same position again. You'll think, there's no work in the diary. What am I going to do next week? So you want to make sure that you keep that pressure on just a little bit. Even if you don't get the jobs, it's nice to keep in a momentum of doing a couple of quotes a week at least. Because the more quotes you do, the more invoices you do, the quicker you get. And I've created a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet that's nice, simple and easy. Once you've created the quote, it auto-generates the invoice and you can send it straight out to your customers. As simple as that. So I'll leave a link to that in the show notes below so you can check it out, and it might help out for your business too. So if your business is a little bit quiet at the moment and you could do with a bit more work, Go get your hair cut. Go get your beard trimmed. Go to a Turkish barber's and start that conversation up. Test your skills about how you're going to promote yourself and be that walking billboard to everybody and say, yeah, I'm an electrician. Go sit down, have your hair cut and spark the conversation up. Get it onto you being an electrician. And they never know. You might get some work out of it. So until next time, I'll see you again.